I think we're gonna see. We're gonna see how it feels to have it be out there.
It's gonna be great. You're a winner.
Oh my God! When I'm talking, you're not talking.
Sorry.
No, when I'm talking, you're not talking. This is why. Yes, we'll have to just cut him out of the show. No, I mean, I think this is a really raw show, and it's very real, and we took a lot of chances. And I think that we'll see where it leads us. We'll see what it feels like to have be out there, and then we'll see, if people like it.
So you seen what just happened? They just opened a Planet Hollywood in New York, and they were on the red carpet for the opening of this event. And you have the legend, Alec Baldwin, and his wife. His wife is talking. He ad-libs. He says some things behind her. She then says, don't talk while I'm talking. Don't talk. You're talking while I'm talking. But then she takes it a step further and says, this is why we got to have him out of the da-da-da-da-da. So she really went overboard with it, right? And then you could just see the stale face on Alec Baldwin. He really had to get his composure and just go into the background and do something else. Now, this is the thing. We all know who Alec Baldwin is. He's like 30, 40 years in the game. Super legend, A+ list celebrity, like A+, as big as it gets when we talk about actors. A+ actor. I've seen his wife commented on whatever show they are doing or whatever, and I had to look her up because I'm thinking, okay, she might be a F-list actor, a D-list actor, a C-list actor. When I looked her up, it said she is an American yoga instructor, an entrepreneur, and a podcast author, and she got yoga studios and stuff. Now, shout out to her for that. That's all good. I'm not no hater at all. I'm not knocking none of that. But when we talk about the realm of celebrity, she might have money. She might have millions and might have attained millions without Alec Baldwin. When we talk about celebrity and red carpet shit, he's the guy. Everybody in America knows who he is. He has put in mad work. We don't know who you are. You were just his wife. And they put a mic in your face and you disrespect the legend in front of everybody. Now, this is the reason you might be like, oh, man, Dumper, you glazing. Listen, the thing about this that is very significant, and I want y'all to really understand and grasp what I'm saying. To us, he is Alec Baldwin. To her, she is just a guy. She is just the husband. That's it. The status don't even mean nothing to her no more. I'm sure it meant something when she was trying to get with him. But now that they're in this relationship, it doesn't hold as much weight anymore. You were just another human. You were just a guy. And listen, I'm not the guy that's going to tell you to idol worship and be on these people's dick as far as celebrities. I don't really care about them that much. But to embarrass this guy, when I can almost guarantee you wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for him. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Just emasculated him in front of everybody. But I need you to take that nugget, man. Your status begins to matter less the deeper you get into commitment. The deeper you get into commitment, all the stuff you go out into the world and do, your wife don't care about that shit as much as the rest of the world do. And you want to know what's funny? As much as other girls that don't have you do. It's very funny and very ironic. And this is a true statement. This is a true statement. You could be the man to society. You could be the man to your community. You could be the man to the masses. You could be a great man in a lot of people's eyes, but you go home and you just another guy. You're just another nigga to your wife or your girl. You're just regular. You're just normal. You ain't shit. You ain't shit.
My husband it takes a village of women to make sure that he's not emaciated, starving, and living in his own filth. He can, you know.
That's a clip from when The View was saying men are useless on national broadcast television. You could get it. You don't even got to get cable. You could get an antenna and watch women sit at a table, old dusty women sit at a table and talk about how men ain't shit. Syndicated just all over the nation. Millions of people tuning in. When I did the original video on that, I looked up chick's husband or whatever the case may be, dude, like a multi-millionaire, some great dude, right? Some great dude, some guy that is actually great amongst his peers, great amongst a lot of people, looked at as a high status guy. But she goes on national TV and emasculates this guy. She goes and shits on him, saying that he wouldn't be shit if it wasn't for women. And he is useless, he is worthless. That's what she said that about her husband. So I gotta let y'all see that. I had to reference that just so you can understand. This is not just a one-off issue. This is something that is widespread and happens quite a bit. Now let's get to some comments. We have a black person here, black guy, and this is on Threads, by the way. This is not Twitter. So the guy says, now, if a black woman did this, it would be a different story. People would be like, look at that. But since it's a white woman, everybody just quiet. Now this is the thing. This person is full of shit because who's quiet? The chick is getting cooked all through the comments. Like, so who is like, let's get to the next one. A commenter replies to that and says, you're literally commenting on a post that states she's getting backlash for it. Really, like they're saying that she's getting backlash for it. So how is everybody just quiet? Because she's white. Weird contradiction. The main person who said this, you know, the original guy, he says, I don't, you understood my comment. He wanted to say, I don't think you understood my comment, but I should have expressed myself better. Yes, she is getting backlash, but nothing is being tied to her race, bias, etc., etc. It is just backlash directed at her as a person, not as a part of a big group of people. Now, if a black woman did that, it would be a different story. Basically, he didn't say that exactly, but because now people will call her ghetto or say, see, that is why black women are single. Black this, black that. That's what I was referring to. I got to apologize for some of my reading because some of the structures in some of these sentences don't be right. They just don't be right. Now, when you look at what he said, this is my take on that. The first thing is, this is a black man. It is very weird that you find a situation to where no black people are involved in this at all. And you try to make it about not even black men, not even black people, but black women. You try to paint them as a victim. And if you go through all the comments, like, no black women are even doing that. So what makes you jump out the window and try and make a situation that has nothing to do with black women about black women? So that's the first thing. I could understand in some cases where it's like, okay, you know, I'll give you a good example that y'all not gonna like. But like if we see like a white person getting pulled over and harassing a cop, going crazy and just like even punching a cop or assaulting a cop and getting tased or something like that and detained after going so crazy, people will contrast and say, well, if the person was black, it wouldn't go that far. They would have got beat, tased, or shot a lot earlier for a lot less. That's what would be said. And that would make sense, even though, and this is just me being real, even though there are guys who put, you know, like dash cameras in their car and stuff like that, and they will, you know, harass the cops to pull them over as far as certain black dudes, and nothing happens to them. But when you look at it, if you look at a situation like the Tamir Rice situation, you can't find a situation with footage, by the way, where a cop just pulls up on a white child, gets out of the car, and immediately in a casual, like, didn't even look alarmed, didn't even break a sweat, just shoots the kid dead. You're not going to find something like that. You're not going to find something like that. So, like, that speaks to all of that. Now, I know some of y'all might be really turned off. I don't give a fuck. Turn off the video. Get the fuck out of here. I don't give a fuck. But for people who are still here, that would make sense in that context to bring that type of stuff up. Now, I just did 3 minutes of content. I had to erase all that and come back because I'm not trying to be on this race topic too long. But let me break this down real quick. This right here, there's no reason for him to inject race into this because different races have their own negative stereotypes. And I'm just going to cut through all the bullshit and bring up one that is parallel to black women being like, you know, rude and just belligerent and all that stuff. Karens. Karens. When you look at Karens, being called a Karen, that is some middle-aged white woman shit. They are the mascots of being Karens, middle-aged white women. And the reason it is a stereotype is because it has happened so often and it's happened in abundance to where the stereotype has been proven true. And this is the issue with it. This is something that has actually been going on probably since segregation. It's something that's been going on for a long, long time. I'm talking about over 50 years. But now that we have these camera phones and people can whip out a camera phone and get a Karen on the screen, now you see what's going on. And this is the thing about it. It's not just white on black. It's not that. Karens harass everybody. They harass white men and white women as well. And white men and white women will pull out the camera and fucking record them being Karens. And guess what? When the stereotype came out, as far as like once they began to get this label, middle-aged white women fought back. They did not like it. But the thing about it is it doesn't matter if you like it or not. There's too much evidence to make it stick. And when we look at the black woman stereotypes, there's too much evidence to make a lot of it stick. So with that being said, like when you see somebody as far as like, you know, somebody black going off or something like that, or just being nosy or whatever the case may be, and they don't get called a Karen, I've never seen white people come in the comments like, oh man, but if she was white, she would be called a Karen. Because the situation has nothing to do with white people and Karens. It's just this black woman is doing what she's doing. And if she's getting cooked for what she's doing, as far as Karen type activity, that's all that matters. I could keep going on this, but I don't really want to keep going, man. I just had to cut myself off from talking about the stereotype of black people being thugs or black men and stuff like that, which is a stereotype that the music and a lot of just civilian niggas and even thug niggas just feed into. They just feed into the shit. Like they absolutely feed into it and make it bigger and bigger. And even, yeah, I'm not going to go in on that. But yeah, a lot of stereotypes stick for a reason. And to act like there isn't any validity to them is disingenuous. Now, if we talk about combating the narrative, like how, okay, most black men are not thugs, so we got to stop that. We got to cut that stereotype down. That is a cool thing to do. Fighting against a stereotype and arguing against a stereotype. But to act like there is no truth to it is completely disingenuous. And then to come out and try and just like insert this into another situation that has nothing to do with it is crazy. Now, I'm sorry if you had to go through the Olympic race with me as far as going through races and racial shit. I'm not even going to lie to you, that whole part of the video, I'm tempted to delete it, but I'm not going to delete it because I done put in all this work and I done redid so many fucking takes. So you're going to hear it. But the whole point of this is like, I get sick of seeing people, and some of y'all might think that I do it, but I don't think that I do it unnecessarily. I get sick of people unnecessarily injecting race into shit that is like, when you look at the parallel, it just doesn't make sense for this to even be a topic. It just doesn't make sense for this to even be a topic. And if you think I'm doing this because this is happening with black women, I be on social media, bro. When I see it happen with some black shit and it it has nothing to do with women, and it might just have to do with black people in general. And it's brought up in a context to where, like, what the fuck are you doing? I will still call it out. I don't give a fuck if it's black women, black men, whatever the case may be. And I'm pro-black, but I am anti-bullshit. We not about the bullshit. So let's get to these other two. So talking to your husband like this in public is wild. Why do people like to belittle and emasculate their men in front of other people? That is a good question. And it was posed by a woman. Just so you understand, like, all women are not just going with the bullshit all the time. You then have one who she's absolutely going with the bullshit. She says, I don't see a problem. This is every wife in the world. Ha ha ha. These are the replies to the marriage one. It says, this is why dudes rather not marry y'all in general. A bunch of clowns. Laughing emoji or crying emoji. You know, another one says, nah, speak for yourself. This is the level of disrespect you asked for if this is the norm for you. You only have yourself to blame. So basically, what I'm going to take that as is, yeah, you should check it, but you should have checked it in private long before this became a thing. And I agree with that to a certain extent, you know, because when it comes to respect in general, that's how things are supposed to be handled. It's a slippery slope. Another chick says, right, like, shut up and let me get my thought out. Another chick says, I've never said that to my husband in the 11 years that we have been together. That is incredibly disrespectful of her to say that. He's trying to be positive and move her along. Another person said, is this rage bait? Yes, it's rage bait. And see, a lot of women, when it comes to this, they are pretty much on our side. It says, no, it's not normal to humiliate your husband like this in front of cameras. Definitely not. I don't want to be a part of this every woman. I have respect. This is not every woman. So all wives are disrespectful. A man said that. No, never in public, especially in front of cameras. So I want you to understand that most women are on the same page when it comes to this. This is not acceptable. Now, we got one that is more even keeled, in my opinion. So woman says, I had a partner that interrupted and talked over me and corrected me constantly in and out of public. It was embarrassing and annoying. I asked him a million times not to do it until one day I told him to stop in front of our friends. He stopped. She has a right to tell Alec to stop. He was the one who rudely interrupted her despite whether he was complimenting her or not. It goes both ways. If he wants her to treat him with respect, then he should offer the same respect to begin with. Now, this is the first thing. I don't really disagree with this take. Let's just get that out the way. The second thing is, we don't know what they have going on behind the scenes, if they had conversations about this or not. Number three, let me point out the issue to where this is looked at as disrespectful, because it's not disrespectful to have boundaries. It's not disrespectful to communicate those boundaries. The way that you communicate your boundaries can be considered disrespectful if it's disrespectful, if it's belligerent and just crass.
It's going to be great. You're a winner.
Oh my God, when I'm talking, you're not talking.
Sorry.
No, when I'm talking, you're not talking. This is why, yes, we'll have to like just cut him out of the show. No.
So I had to play it again so that it's fresh on our minds, so that both of us, you and me, we just seen what happened. We just seen what happened. We just looked at it. This is what's going on. She gets interrupted twice. Her response is, when I'm talking, you're not talking. And she is holding up her hands. You see how she is in the picture. When I'm talking, you're not talking. That is rude. That is rude. She repeated it twice. She definitely sounded frustrated when she said it. She could have communicated that more politely. What she could have said was, could you please let me speak? Thank you. She could have said thank you after that. Now, that could still be looked at as rude. Some people could take that as disrespect. But when you just look at exactly how it said, you thank them, right? And if you don't do it in a condescending tone or a sassy tone or anything like that, it's going to be hard for people to look at that as disrespectful. Even if we just try and make it just much, much softer. Even if we try and make it much, much softer, it could be something like, "Hey, honey, I'm trying to get a sentence out. Just let me finish my sentences. Da 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 da. Blah 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 blah." She could have said something like that. She could have said something like that. Can I please finish my sentence? She could have said something like that in a tone like that, and it would have been fine. But the way that she did it was like, I have had enough of you. I've had enough of you interrupting me. Stop it. Just fucking flat out stop it. Now, this is not your coworker. This is not somebody off the street. This is your husband. This is somebody you are actually in a relationship with, who also has a public image. Now, I personally do hate getting cut off myself. That's probably why you'll never see me on a panel with 18 motherfuckers on screens. You'll probably never see that, ever. And I'll be honest with you. My default response, depending on the circumstance, it really depends on the circumstance. If we're having a friendly conversation, if we're just talking, and you cut me off like that, it could really be one-on-one. And you cut me off every time I'm saying some shit, I'm not somebody who is super pressed to get my thought out. What I realize is you don't give a fuck what I have to say. So I let you have it, and we about to get off the phone. We about to end the conversation because I absorb what people say. And I'm not going to lie, like I don't cut people off on occasion and stuff like that, but I am far more courteous to most people because I will recognize it and give them the floor. I don't know anybody who does that in conversation more than me. Like, I recognize that shit in myself, and I try to stop it, and I still give motherfuckers the floor when we clash and stuff. Like, I let motherfuckers speak. That's what I do. And don't get it twisted. It's been times where I have flipped about getting cut off. I flip where I'm having a conversation and somebody brings up something, like just in the middle of me talking, somebody bring up something that ain't got shit to do with nothing we talking about. And I got to address it because it's like, what the fuck? Like, you don't give a fuck what I'm saying. But this is the thing. I'm going to tell you something. It's not in front. It's not on cameras. And it's not in front of a crowd of people to where it can embarrass this person. And that's where the social awareness comes in with how you deal with people. This is going to be global. This is a global superstar as far as Alec Baldwin. But let's scale it back and go to the second reason as far as why this interaction is bad. It was enough that she held her hands up and said, "Why I'm talking, you're not talking. Why I'm talking, you're not talking." Like, it's almost like she was talking to him like he was a pet, like he was a dog. We get past that, and she takes it a step further and jokes about it to the reporter and says, "Yeah, we're going to have to cut him off." And this cat, he was trying to praise her. He was trying to bring positive energy. And that just zapped everything. That just killed everything. And you could see him regulating his emotions. He's like, you know what? Let me just eject myself from this situation. So that's what's wrong with this situation. It was too disrespectful. And then this is the other thing. It's on cameras, so it's global. And it's not just global, it's immortalized. We'll be able to look at this in 2067. And really, that's all I got for this, man. But the most important point to take away from all this outside of the comments is that there are guys who are amazing guys, just like Alec Baldwin, just like Will Smith, just like Steph Curry. And when it comes to the girls that are with them, like there are a lot of girls all around the planet who would kill to be with these guys, who would love to suck their cock every single day. They are just thirsty to suck these guys' cocks. And then on top of that, these guys are revered by their peers. They have the ultimate social proof. They got everything that you hear that a woman is supposed to be attracted to, right? Once a woman gets the ultimate commitment as far as being a wife from this guy, this high status guy, and once everything begins to sink in and everything begins to get comfortable, and it's very comfortable, then he is just a regular guy to her. And nothing he does in the world fucking matters. Who he is outside of the house doesn't fucking matter. This is a guy whose drawers I clean. He's not shit. He is not shit. When you see somebody like him being reduced to this, like, it's crazy to me. I watched Scarface Mark the other day say, Future is a lame and he, impregnating all these women at 40. I'm not gonna lie. He's 100% right. He's 100% right. But when you hear Future say stuff in his songs like, bitch, don't get too comfortable. Like, Future be having some bars. He be saying some shit to live by in some cases. Because when they get too comfortable, this is what happens when you were a superstar. When you were like a A++ celebrity. This is what happens. You get disrespected in public. I'll catch y'all.